The Tata Punch needs no introduction. It started the whole micro SUV trend in the country and undeniably was a runaway hit. But that wasn't enough for Tata Motors. So it did what it does best. Say hello to the Punch.ev. A new platform, new looks and segment first features. So is the Punch EV the real deal? Let's start with the design, shall we?
Well, it looks certainly very aggressive, and that was exactly what the memo was given to the designers at Tata. To make it look aggressive, to make it look butch, and of course to make it look sexy. And sexy it is, because when you look at the other car that you find in this segment, the EC3, the Punch EV is miles ahead, and you can see the reference point to it as well, because we've seen the Nexon EV. It has certain elements that are very unique to the EV specific models that Tata will be launching later this year as well. But talking about the Punch, I find it very appealing. So you get the full width connecting LED strip. It looks very good, and in the morning when we started driving, it has a road presence. It has a very certain sex appeal that you can find on the road, which is unmatchable. Lower down you get this illuminated logo for the Tata, and this also adds to the entire sex appeal of the car.
Vertically stacked fog lamp housing, black claddings all around and the right amount of muscle help Punch retain its SUV cred. To top it off, a new alloy wheel design and the .ev logo at the back are the only new additions to the Punch EV when compared to its petrol cousin. So, is the Punch EV the best looking budget EV? Oh yes, by a mile. And you know what? The cabin's very modern too.
I quite like how the interior of the Punch EV looks now. It is following a very minimalist design language. So at the center you get the center console for the aircon vents. This is touch based. Now the only gripe I have over here is that there's no haptic feedback to these switches. So you won't really know if that button has been pressed or not. When you're driving, you'll have to continuously take a look at it. But that's fine. Talking about the cup holders, you get two cup holders, but the problem over here is that it's not deep enough. So if you keep your phone, or even if you keep like a small cup, there are chances of item getting spilled over. Wireless charger is fantastic. It looks really nice, and it's probably the only one in the segment that gets it, so that's a plus point. You also get auto hold and park buttons. That is again a very typical feature that you get with the Tata EVs now. The biggest problem that I have is with this rotary knob. I am not a particular fan of this, because when you want to do things quickly like reverse or get on the move, its feedback is slightly slow, so you will have to keep some patience while doing this.
The new infotainment system, on the other hand, is very intuitive, very responsive. Even the driver's display is all digital. Lower trims get a 7-inch screen though, the same unit from the ICE Punch. Ventilated seats, electric sunroof and cruise control are all part of the top spec versions. While air purifier, tire pressure monitoring system, rear parking sensors, cooled glove box are all standard. What remains unchanged are the dimensions. So, the 366-litre boot space is ample as well for a car this size. Safety takes a front seat. 6 airbags, hill hold assist, 3-point seat belts for all passengers, and seatbelt reminders along with ISOFIX are part of standard equipment list. Even the video clarity on the 360-degree camera is finally impressive. The Tata Punch EV is based on the Acti.ev platform, which essentially promises better packaging. It will help with several different battery packs such as LFP batteries, which currently appear to be the best solution for our climate and conditions. Not just that, it even claims to improve structural integrity of the chassis using a high percentage of ultra high strength steel. So, how has it helped the Punch EV? Well, for starters, it gets 2 battery packs, 35 kilowatt hour and 25 kilowatt hour. We are driving the former with a claimed range of 421 kilometers. However, our day started with 315 kilometers on the Odo with a full charge. To give perspective, the Punch EV has more on tap than the Turbo Venue and Sonnet. Add the different modes and the Punch EV changes character.
Now the best part about driving an EV is obviously the regen modes. With the Punch EV you get 4 different regen modes. Is that you get paddle shifters to control it. So right now I'm on level 3, which is maximum regen, and it performs really well, especially when you're driving in the city. That single pedal feeling really adds to the entire driving experience, and it even slows down quite quickly on level 3. So that's extremely beneficial because you don't really want to use brakes that much.
Even the flat torque curve helps reduce the sudden jolt that you feel with the more powerful EVs, making it ideal for a small EV like the Punch. These are all lessons learnt from the bigger brother Nexon EV. It builds power gradually and won't jump when you put the pedal to the metal. Being an EV, range will always be a hot topic of discussion.
So regen modes work like a charm, but the only thing is that when you're driving in different drive modes, there's eco, normal, and there's also the sport mode. Obviously you need to note that the battery level, the range that you get with the car is obviously going to reduce depending on the kind of driving you're doing and also the kind of drive mode you will be using.
Tata engineers claim that the new platform is capable to conserve energy with better storage. But we need to spend more time with the car to better understand its longevity. Although a change in platform, we felt that the dynamics were pretty much like the ICE Punch.
Now the ride quality of the Punch EV is not bad. It's extremely pliant, it stays on the ground, it doesn't jump around too much. And that had been an issue with the ICE version of the car. And I'm guessing this is probably because of the weight, the added weight of the battery pack that has made the car more stable, it's more grounded, and it's comfortable as well. But the only problem over here is that the rear seat passengers continue to feel the jitters when you go over bad patches. It's still not the most comfortable for the rear seat passengers, but for the front passengers it's extremely comfortable.
Having said that, the Punch EV manages a very supple ride. It has its cons, no doubt, but the pros are far greater. Tata had curated a special off-road course. However, we decided to take things into our own hands. We tried mild off-roading on broken roads, and the Punch EV crossed it quite easily. a flat floor with 190 millimeters of ground clearance, and the 3D view on the 360-degree camera was very useful. So what's the bottom line? Is the Punch EV the real deal? Well, we feel so, since the only real competition it has comes from the Citroën EC3. But there's no fast charging option, nor are there as many features. Realistically, there's no other EV in the market that gives you so much value for money at this price point specifically. Compare it to the ICE vehicles from a segment above, and it still turns out to have more value. But it's too soon for the micro SUV to cannibalize that segment. For now, this EV is certainly punching above its weight.